All right. It says we're live. We're going to check, make sure we got sound here. You want to say something, JB?
Check, check, check.
All right. Looks like we're live. Good to go. So we're trying this live streaming thing now because it's... Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
It's way easier to just finish the video, end it, and then it's automatically posted online, so we don't have to do anything to it.
Right, because we were recording it in two separate places, and then we would have to have somebody sync them, and that was taking a while, and it was asking a lot of that person to do that. Shout out to Josh.
Yeah, so we would try to simplify that, and took us a long time, like 3 hours yesterday, or last time to do it, and then it took us like 10 minutes, 15 minutes this time. So we're getting better at it. The learning curve is getting faster here. So
it's not too bad.
Mm-mm.
And it's definitely not my strong suit. You're much better at it than I am. Whereas I just
I'm
call
not.
in help. So you would at least take on the challenge. I don't. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not. It takes me forever, but I'm like, I just keep trying until I figure it out at some point, and it drives me up a wall. Like, it drives me nuts.
I just listened to this weird podcast with Julian while we were driving about it's a Dax Shepard does a podcast. He had some guy on that lived by the Jewish law, like to the T, in New York City for a year straight, like to the T, and it's like some weird stuff in the Old Testament Jewish law. And but he mid podcast talks about how beneficial doing puzzles are for the human brain, but like one of the most important things.
What's that game everybody plays now?
Wordle.
You play it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm a huge. That was
I haven't got into it yet.
I did as a kid. Growing up, I would get home from school. My mom would have.
You play Wordle?
Well, she would have
Just
out
kidding.
on the table on our kitchen counter would be the crypto quip, the
where you gotta like guess the letters and
so
the
the crypto quip was really
sentence.
hard. Then you had like the word unscramble, and then there's a couple other
crossword puzzle.
And so anyway, so I did them every day. Like I would get home, and that was what like
that's cool.
we had to do that.
Yeah.
And so now me and my family have like a Wordle sort of competition and a scorecard and a.
My mom said she got like 2 2s the other day.
Yeah, I mean,
Apparently that's
today's
like
was
really hard to do.
Yeah. Today's was I got a 2.
Did you?
It was easy. Today's was real easy.
What was the word?
Asset.
And it's the same like for everybody that's doing it for the day. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
you could like text your friend like a sentence with a weird word in it, and they'll they'll see it, the word, but they might guess it that day or something like that. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, I digress.
No, that's cool. I like those puzzles.
Yeah.
Any reason for it, or just she liked them?
Yeah, I don't know. Never asked.
You should ask her. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today I wrote the title of the video. I put a little clickbait title there. Not quite as good as Andrew Hill or anything, but
I know. Well, he watched the Rogan Mr. Beast interview. Clearly, I think I heard him talk about it, and I watched the Mr. Beast Rogan interview twice because it's that
Have you?
fascinating. Yeah,
I've seen pieces of it just because of the JRE clips.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen the whole thing. Was it worth watching?
Yeah, it's.
And he just talks about what his journey on YouTube and like how to grab the most attention.
How to be the best
at grabbing attention.
Among other things.
Okay, I should listen to it.
It
Probably.
doesn't matter. Like, all right, so here you go. You can grab attention by putting a scantily clad woman as your or dude,
right?
Whatever.
Since YouTube is mostly dudes,
right? Whatever gets your juices flowing, and that could be your thumbnail, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if your video's no good, then the retention. You
have to have content.
So like
right?
you can get clicks, but YouTube clicks don't necessarily matter as far as monetization goes and success of a video goes, but it certainly plays a part in it. And I heard him talk about it, and so you can really tell, like, if you put them side by side, you can see what he's doing. It seems to be working.
Oh, yeah, that's the interesting thing about I've watched a couple more of Hiller's videos, and I always listen to him on double speed. People, they talk really fast, but yeah, you get more. You get the gist of the content.
Right.
But yeah, the titles are clickbait, but the information's good.
Solid.
You know, like, there's good stuff in it. So it's an interesting time that we have to point fingers and point out flaws of, you know, CrossFit HQ, let's say.
Right.
I don't think people really like doing it. Like, I don't think he likes doing it. I don't think maybe he likes doing it. I don't know. I don't like doing it.
I guess that's a saying that existed. Like, why don't you like doing it? Is it a personality thing? And
I don't like being on here.
Okay.
Like, I'm doing it because it makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
And I'd like to learn how to speak a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to learn how to put my words into, you know, into sentences and form them in the correct way to give out the most information that I can and get checked, I guess, by the internet if I need to, and learn what I'm about in the meantime of doing that. You know, like, if you get feedback, positive or negative, how do you react to that? How should you react to that? Why you reacted this way that you did, and how do you grow? Like, I don't think if you're not stretching yourself like that, you're not really going to grow. And this puts me in a place that I'm really not too comfortable.
Right. This is an uncomfortable space for you.
Like, I'm totally fine sitting here and having a conversation with you, or anybody else,
right,
really. But if you do it and then you're live in front of whoever wants to watch, it's a different dynamic completely. So you're kind of in a different realm. So just venturing off a little bit into a space that's unknown, you know,
right,
which is what kind of like, you know, what you do in the gym, what you're supposed to do in the gym, getting us to our subject.
Right. What you're supposed to do. You know, go and get uncomfortable. I got uncomfortable yesterday. That workout's interesting. That's a B. Smith classic, 10 toes to bar paired with 5 of something right afterwards. I know 3 other movements that I've done with that pairing. I've done it with muscle ups with you once. I've done it with strict deficit handstand push-ups with you once. Done it with burpee box jumps once.
It's like toe to bar, burpee box jump, toe to bar handstand push-up. It's a good combo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was nasty.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of affiliate programming, that was something that I wanted to talk about, was the affiliate programming. Something I wanted to talk about was the CrossFit that you see on the internet versus the CrossFit that you see in your regular gym, how they're different, kind of the idea of what people think CrossFit might be versus if you're running a gym or you see the gym, what you want CrossFit to be, and then versus like what it actually is, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think CrossFit on the internet that you see, like, you see the competing side of it, or you see the fail videos,
right,
or you see your friend who does CrossFit, what they perceive it to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, they might not all be the same thing.
Right.
And then what the coach that's running the class sees,
right,
they might not all be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I was just trying to figure out what exactly they were, what exactly it was, what exactly CrossFit was, what I'm trying to give to people when I program for the gym, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you want to, we could start with that, but I've been doing, go ahead.
I think you should start there because it is the umbrella that everything else falls under. Like, how many different styles of American football are there? Well, there's only one American football, but then there's a ton of different styles of coaching. There's a ton of different styles of how it should be done. There's a ton of different positions that make up the team that goes into the organization, all of the above that goes into this one game that has a set amount of rules. Everybody knows the objective of the game.
And that's what I think the problem is now, is not everybody knows what the objective is when you go to CrossFit.
Correct.
And I say go to CrossFit because it's like you're going to a CrossFit gym. Not all CrossFit gyms are the same. They can be programmed from anybody. Whoever wants to program them, whoever wants to run the gym can run the gym the way that they want it. There's a lot of freedom there.
Yeah.
So when you go play football, it's like the rules are the same. But when you go do CrossFit, the rules aren't like, what are the rules? What is CrossFit? What does it even mean? What are you trying to do when you go to the gym? So,
right. So that
JB's going to turn his volume up. All right. Yeah, and I watched a Zach Talander video
Okay.
Yeah, so he's like another YouTube guy.
Mhm.
He's a weightlifter.
Yep.
So I've followed him. Like I've seen him for a while. Like he's been around for a while because I was really into Olympic weightlifting, and I watched a lot of Olympic weightlifting, learning how to do Olympic weightlifting for CrossFit.
100%.
So he was in that mix. Like I would see his like occasionally his videos would pop up, or some of his lifts maybe. I don't know where I saw him, but I've seen him for a while. And I think he started doing CrossFit also, or at least maybe he said, I'm not quite sure, maybe CrossFit helped him kind of get into coaching more people in Olympic weightlifting or something like that. Like CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting kind of worked together, and he fit in the mold somewhere. But he was a good weightlifter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he loves Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah.
So he does a couple videos that he's got the clickbait titles. He's got it down. He's good at it. But he was talking about what's wrong with CrossFit. And, he put a CrossFit fail videos, and then there's like all these CrossFit fail videos, and he goes through, and they're mostly Olympic weightlifting, like people dropping the bar on their heads.
Yep.
Or, people dropping the bar on their heads, really.
Bro,
falling
this
backwards.
girl straight dropped the bar on her head 3 times at your competition last weekend.
Oh, at the...
Went for her jerk
at the
every
regionals.
time, and she'd just miss it.
Josh showed me that.
Dude, every
was
time,
wild.
man. I'm like, bro, who is coaching you, and why have they not told you that you should go down and weigh?
Man, there's just so many things I would say about that.
Dude, you should have seen this one girl, dog, just...
Yeah, she went straight forward off the platform.
Yeah, Tommy Marquez had this like beautiful save as a commentator of it, though, where he talked about the fundamentals of failing an Olympic lift in that manner, and that's how you do it. And I was like, good job, broadcaster. Man.
Yeah, so there's a handful of things I can make, excuses for that, right? But okay, well, I'll give you a couple. I'll give you a couple.
Great.
Competition, you're going hard. Okay, fine. They had regular Rogue barbells in the back, and then when we walked on the floor, they had Olympic lifting barbells. The jerk felt totally different.
Right.
You got to time the whip of the barbell if it's above a certain weight. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it needs to be a lot of weight to do that, but like the dip and the drive is a little different in the jerk when you warm up with a regular Rogue barbell versus an Olympic bar.
For sure.
And the clean and things like that, like just little things, like the way the platform is, how bouncy the platform is if you're doing touch and go reps. Mm-hmm. Just little things like that is a little different. You sat for 10 or 15 minutes before you went out there and you did your lift. So, there's some different things in there that you might not be used to, but that's still not an excuse, but whatever.
By no means.
I was just saying that's just what it made me think of.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't like watching any of those videos. I don't watch the CrossFit fail videos. I don't like looking at people love watching them.
For real?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
they
watch
get
them.
Millions of views online.
But I'm also not watching fail videos though. Like I don't click NASCAR fail videos. Like I have no interest in watching fail videos.
Yeah.
Like at all. I would rather watch success videos.
Sure. But people love those. But yeah, in the videos it's like I think he said something like someone asked a question that said non-competitive CrossFit is the best form of exercise.
Okay.
All right, and he made a very good point. So he disagreed. He said, I don't think it is the best form of exercise. He said the best form of exercise is the one that that you can consistently stick to, and that, let's say, makes you the most satisfied or happy or healthy.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Like, it's kind of like the diet argument.
Yeah.
How people are like, I don't know what diet to follow. We'll just follow the one that you can stick to. That's the best diet.
Right.
Like, I get that logic up to a point, because it's like, well, what if Cheetos and Gatorade is what I can stick to?
Right.
That's easy for me to stick to. I can do that all day, but it's not really going to give me the results that I'm looking for. So I think there's a bunch of things that are like kind of dependent on it.
Yeah.
So his point was good. It was logical. Like, it made sense that was the CrossFit might not be the best form of exercise, right? But
technically, but that's not a scientific answer on his part. That's still an opinion answer.
Right. And he said, he gave an example of himself, and he said Olympic weightlifting's really hard. He wants to go snatch and clean and jerk one day, hard and heavy, and it's like, that's really challenging mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever. Like, it takes a lot of you to go to the gym and train that hard. And he knows, because he's competed, right?
Right.
And he says the best workout for him that day might have just been a ton of pull-ups. Just go do a ton of pull-ups, different kind of pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, change up the grip, do a ton of pull-ups,
right.
and then go for a walk and listen to a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that was probably the best thing for me for that day. And I'm like, okay, yes, agreed.
Right.
That might be the best. But you only can do that and take that day easy like that because of all the hard days that you put in,
right.
and all the times that you've almost failed, and all the times that you've pushed yourself to the limit and felt like you can't get out of bed the next day. Like there's a balance of the training yourself, pushing yourself to that level, and then there's that day that you need to recognize that you should probably take a easier day and do something else, and it's like there's a balance between there. And I think it's like you have to be going for those high intensity days.
Yeah,
you really do.
Yeah,
like everybody.
Yes. And
what happens when you do that and you're videotaping it and there's millions of people that are doing this, it's like you're gonna find instances that look absolutely ridiculous.
Right. They're bad.
You know.
But so for me, I'm going to veer off for a second. When failed videos are your critique of CrossFit, I know you're not taking it serious. I know you're not taking your point serious. And with that being said, if we particularly enjoy talking about patterns.
Mm-hmm.
One of the patterns that I just heard you bring up was the pattern of suffering, which is without suffering, you're not just going to go do some pull-ups one day, go for a walk, and then listen to a podcast and think that you've done enough that day. It's only in combination with that real suffering that you put in 2 days before that allows that to become a piece of the pie. Because I think that the direct correlation between that suffering specifically and then how you contend with it afterwards is going to be sort of what makes up your worldview, sort of what makes up how you take on the externals that come in and try and press into the pattern and say that it's not true or that it's not worth it.
Like a firefighter or a police officer or someone in the military going to do their job. That's kind of what CrossFit was created for in the first place, was so that those people would be the best, adapted the best to their jobs.
Right.
And able to confront whatever challenge faced them.
Right. And so they're going to train and suffer really, really hard for a long time to go and sit at the fire station and cook dinner together and chat and wash the trucks and make sure all the equipment's ready, maybe train a little bit, eat, feed each other, go to the grocery store, all the stuff that I'm specifically talking about firefighters at this point, but all the stuff that they have to do in order to be ready for the 2 a.m. phone call, from the 500-pound person that fell down, can't get back up. Like that's a call that a firefighter could get. Just a simple, just obese person legitimately can't get up off the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be prepared for whatever situation might come up, and that's what, they're training for.
100%. But if you don't know how to do that and you're not willing to do that, and the only thing that you're, like if the only critique or the only lens in which you're looking at something through is how that thing is being done wrong, I guess, or how do you consider what do you consider a CrossFit fail video to be? Like, what is it trying to highlight? That it's what? Unsafe?
Yeah, because I thought about it and I'm like, what if you made I've seen so many weird things in like regular gyms where people are doing like bodybuilding workouts or whatever workouts, right. There's all kinds of things on the internet that you see that people are doing that shouldn't be doing. Like, what if I made a bodybuilding compilation fail video?
Yeah. And
just said bodybuilding is so stupid because of XYZ and just posted 3 really bad people doing bodybuilding. And it was just average Joe. And I'm like, average Joe should never do it.
Right.
They should never do it. because of these people. Because look what happens.
Right, which would go against a pattern that I think makes up how the world works. Which is, you don't have to be an expert. There's a reason, you start school and you go through school, and then you progress up the level. Interesting. But if you're gonna,
I get the critique. Like, I get critiquing the fail videos and everything. I guess I'm trying to defend CrossFit in a sense, because I believe that almost everybody can do CrossFit, but the whole idea is that the intensity that which you do it is all relative to the person and their goals.
All right, let's back up a second, because when I was a personal trainer, I would consistently have 40, 50, 60. I had some 70-year-old clients.
Mm-hmm.
Those 70-year-old clients are coming into the gym, and they're in a place in life, the ones that I had were in a place in life where they needed to lose weight, they needed to fix their posture, and they needed to be able to get up and down. So one of the things that I would do is legitimately, like all of these 70-year-old clients that I had, I would make them get up and down off the floor.
Right.
Prove to me that you can get off the floor, and we'll keep going.
Uh-huh.
If you can't get up off the floor, then we need to figure out how to get you to the place where you can just get up off the floor.
Yeah. It's like, what's the goal? What are you trying to do? Why are you here?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right. And I started like real basic, like as elementary as it gets.
It's a really good way to do it, right? Because that's the first thing you ask somebody when they come in to the gym.
Right.
Hey, why are you here? How can I help you reach what you are trying to do? Or how can I implement what I know CrossFit is to you and your situation?
Right.
It's like, yeah, you don't, I have a problem with like the whole constantly varied idea, because it's like, it is varied, but it's not it's like not completely random. I guess that's the right word. That's why it's varied, not random.
Sure.
Like, it's not random. People, I guess that's something that people think all the time, is that CrossFit's just a random, thrown together handful of exercises that you just do really fast, but it's not that. Like, if if I'm training somebody to get up off the floor, I'm not gonna just throw them on a rower or whatever, have them row for 20 minutes for a workout, and have them do specific things to train the intent of what I'm trying to have them develop.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not random.
No,
that's a good point. Like, when I program for the gym here, when I do our affiliate programming, it's not random.
Which is your critique of the competition? The Medeiros video, the most recent one that just came out. It was interesting. At one point, he says about the bike workout. What do you think he says is the most important piece of the bike workout? To win.
To win that workout?
Yeah.
I don't know. Biking or transitions?
Biking.
Yeah.
He's like, this workout's all about the bike.
Yeah.
Why didn't you like the workout?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was all about the bike.
Because it's all about the bike.
Yeah. I mean, that's just me personally, but yeah.
Right. So, I'm thinking a little bit about this. I've spent a long time watching you do CrossFit. All right. And then I saw your finish at that event. So at this point, I'm like, okay, are all these other cats just biking all the time? Like, just all the time? Like, they're just on that assault bike or whatever it's called, Echo bike. And it's integrated into their workouts all the time. I actually trained at 12 Labors this past summer for like 4 weeks or something like that when I was in Annapolis. And dude was in so many workouts.
What bike?
That Rogue bike. And
great piece of equipment.
Dude, smashed me every time.
Every time.
And I just kept thinking, we do not use this. Like, I have no desire to do this workout, because I also don't care about this piece of equipment. Not saying it's a bad piece of equipment. Not saying it's not a useful piece of equipment. We just don't. I mean, you don't use that a lot. Am I wrong?
Training for competitions, I try to.
Okay.
I mean, not like not a ton.
Right. And maybe
it's
I'm saying
sprinkled
that.
in.
Maybe I'm saying that because when biking is in the class workouts, because I don't train with you guys, we use the assault bike or the Concept 2 bike. The bike.
Yeah, so we have 13 or 14 bike ergs, and then we have 3 echo bikes, and we have 3 assault bikes.
Right.
But the echo or the bike erg is just kind of a little bit more versatile. So it's a little bit better. You can adjust the damper. It makes so that everybody can bike at different intensities. I guess you can just do a little bit more with it than the echo bike, but that's just my opinion.
So I like that, but that wasn't in any of the workouts. Even that is, I don't like it. But I'm not a machines guy personally. I'm like I did CrossFit at my house by myself for a year and a half before I ever made it into a gym. So I'm very much a barbell, just like OG barbell, jump rope, kettlebells, dumbbells.
Yeah, I mean, CrossFit brought a different stimulus into the workout world. It's like people have always done Olympic weightlifting,
right?
Since the beginning of time,
right?
People have always done running, people have always done gymnastics, but it's like they haven't quite combined them in a way like CrossFit has. And I think the thing that CrossFit did was they defined what fitness was, better than really nobody's defined what fitness is, and that's what they've done. And I think that's what people should try to kind of remember or keep in mind, that that's what CrossFit is really, right? It's just took a definition of fitness, combined a bunch of things together and said, hey, here's the best way that we've come up with defining fitness. Now let the world figure out what's right.
Yeah.
They're running this experiment.
Yeah, it's a current, so if they're running a current experiment,
with all these gyms, with all these people, right?
Right.
But it's been going on for 15 years now? I mean, and you see what's come of it. In the way that they define fitness, there's not really anybody else that can come outside of the CrossFit space and beat them at what they're doing.
No, not at all. And it was tried a couple times, and it can't be done. But, yeah. It's just always, I can't remember who said it recently, but it was in that article. It was you are all in a race to water down something that already is the best. You're in a race to the bottom. Yeah,
when you're talking about gyms, affiliates. Yeah, right. So the affiliate programming side of things. Yeah, affiliates shouldn't be watering down their programming. And I think that's a big problem today. But I think we have to kind of explain this one, because you might have a different set of people that are coming to your gym. I call everybody athletes.
Right.
If you're coming to the gym, you're an athlete. That's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
Because I think you should take what you're doing seriously. Because I think if you're coming into a CrossFit gym, you're trying to get better across all of these components of fitness, which CrossFit's defined, and all of those things. That's what you're an athlete. That's what you're doing.
Right.
Not a client, not a gym member or whatever. You're an athlete. So, because you're trying to get better, because CrossFit is very performance based.
Right.
Right. We're very focused on what we're doing, what we're what we're aiming for. So you can't watering down programming. You can't tailor what you're trying to do for your athletes. You can't say I only have one athlete in the gym that can do muscle ups, so I'm never going to program muscle ups.
All right, so this just made me think about my dinner tonight. Me and Julianne are having a lamb curry tonight. Traditional Indian dish. Lamb curry served over rice. I have 18-month-old twin daughters. You think they're going to like the lamb curry?
Mm-mm.
Do you think I should start at the... Does dinner get added to suit me and Julianne, or does dinner get scaled down to the 18-month-old palate?
You should have dino nuggets and mac and cheese?
Yeah. Something like maybe I'll just have a little side of the lamb's just going to be over here with a little bit of white rice and maybe some, chopped up cucumber or something that's not a curry. It's not expected them to combine everything and then eat it with a spoon and, all of the above. I'm going to scale dinner down.
Okay.
So that my
That's
daughters
funny.
can eat it. Because in its current state, it's a little too advanced. A little too much for them right now.
Right.
Maybe it's not. Maybe they're going to like it. That could be cool, though. And that's the whole point.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That maybe you, at 60, as an athlete, come into the gym and like the hardest test. Everybody wants the hardest test.
Mm-hmm.
You want the hardest test. And then if you can't do it, you need a responsible coach to be able to say, here, let me figure out the correct test for you from this one. Because we have the thing you're going to aim at.
Yeah, you're gonna throw out the hardest test, and then as a good coach, you're gonna scale it back to the person's goals that's doing the workout.
Right, and this is a little bit of my problem, and it's interesting when you say internet CrossFit. I want you to riff on that a little more. I think about affiliates that program like Pro Super Duper RX, Pro RX, RX, Intermediate, Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
And like all of these workouts are listed on their whiteboard or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And then the members come in and they look at it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, like which one do I try to fit which box do I try to fit myself into?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
And it's definitely not the way. It's definitely not the way it should be.
Yeah, it should. I guess I shouldn't say it doesn't make sense to me. I understand why they're doing it.
Absolutely. CrossFit started doing it. The .com started doing it.
No.
So they started putting the workout of the day, and then they would give a scaled version. That was it. So it was workout of the day, scaled version. But it's the same idea. So like that road, that path of like, hey, here's a scaled version of the workout is the same idea as, hey, here's RX plus, RX minus, scaled minus. You know what I mean? Like whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as that, whereas the mentality is always been in CrossFit, and then your affiliate, here's the workout of the day. Your goal is to complete the workout of the day as prescribed. Right. That's your goal when you come in. If that goal or that thing you're shooting for is not high enough, the bar's not high enough, you're not ever going to be stretching yourself. And that means it has to be above the best person at the gym. Mm-hmm. It can't just be above, 90% of the gym, because then you're not going to get 10% of the gym is not going to get better. Right.
And sometimes, sometimes I come in, I look at the whiteboard and I'm very excited. So I know I'm going to smash this workout. So I know I'm ready for it and I like it. Sometimes I come in and I go, oh no, like yesterday, I'm like, oh no, 100 toes bar. I hate toes bar. Mm-hmm. Shoot. And then I do it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because there's days that stretch you, and then there's days that, that there's components inside the workout that you can really excel at.
Yeah.
But not really the whole workout. Like there's always going to be somebody that's going to go faster than you.
Correct.
Not you personally, but overall in general.
Right. So when you said internet CrossFit, are you just specifically talking about the fail videos?
The idea of what CrossFit is just on the internet. Like people, like someone on the internet is like, oh, you do CrossFit? Okay. And they have like this picture in their head of what they think it is because of based off of only seeing CrossFit on the internet.
So this is what
the hyper reality idea.
Well, that's exactly where I was going to go, which was like, they just did an audit of the president's Twitter account. Mm-hmm. They found out like half of his followers were fake or were bots, which is fake. But the reality is they're not actually fake. They're bots. They're responding. And then people who are real could be reading responses from bots and then doing sense making on the world and this person via those bots' responses.
Yeah, like they're trying to figure out what reality is.
Right.
They think this person's real.
Right.
And they're applying that fake reality, the alternate, what are you going to call it? Hyper reality, to actual reality.
Correct.
And they think that.
And they're not even comparing it. They're actually just integrating it simultaneously, and they don't even know that they're doing it. Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit of what happens with what you just described. Like that is the same to me. You're taking something that does not represent true reality, and then you're integrating it into yourself, and then exporting it onto the world. Like you don't just integrate something, you also export it. Like the thing that you consume.
Yeah, and it kind of creates this cycle, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or culture or the internet CrossFit that I'm talking about.
Right. It has created
like it makes
thing.
that thing. Like it's
correct. It may even be preventing somebody from changing their lives drastically. Like listening to the Savon podcast and hearing him, describe the level 1 and then hearing multiple people say, just taking that course changed my life. It changed my family's life. He said something like, it changed my life. It changed my wife's life. It changed my daughter's life.
I thought that was pretty awesome. I did listen to that and I did like that.
It was amazing. But that's the reality of, I believe that.
I do too.
And I believe the majority of those points, like stamp that. Mm-hmm. That, that's gospel. That's good. Mm-hmm. And then if you're not going to try something, I mean, you could go back to like the food example where, like when I was a kid, I was a picky eater. I gave that broccoli story, in one of the original podcasts. But, that ability not to contend with the world or not to contend with something that you don't like or you're not used to or you're uncomfortable with or is silly. Like that's a hard place to be. It's a hard space to live in. And you don't want to live in that space.
Yeah, like, and I understand the whole idea that people are trying to say, like, oh, it's too intense or it's too much, and it's like, yeah, that totally might be true for you,
right?
But that's not what that's not what I would have you do,
right?
Like it's like that's not the correct example for you to compare yourself to, like you're comparing yourself to people that are out of your league or on the league below you or whatever, like. You haven't quite fit into the place where you should be, like on the ladder.
What do you think about a swimming analogy for this? Like a YMCA pool. Like I've gone to the YMCA to swim with you guys. Mm-hmm. You all will swim 2,000 meters and I'll swim 700 because that's about all I can swim. Like I might make it to 1,000. Mm-hmm. Like, but that crushes me. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying my hardest. I'm doing my hardest. Like I really am like going super hard. But this ability of the pool to really, really reduce, risk of injury and the chance of, going and swimming as hard as I could. I mean, how many swimmers do you think get injured? You think that's a lot? You think a lot of people like pull things and hurt themselves swimming?
I would just think shoulders, labrums.
Think so?
Maybe.
I'm curious.
That's about it.
I'm curious about this now.
I have cousins that are swimmers, and I think one of them was having a lot of shoulder problems.
I imagine
shoulder stuff,
something like,
and then like stuff like your body's, if you're doing it a lot, going to the extreme, like your body's not under a lot of load. Mm-hmm. So bone density might change.
Right.
I mean, CrossFitters and weightlifters and people that have loads on them constantly, their bone density is higher. Like that's a thing. That's why you would do resistance training as, the National Strength and Conditioning Association would call it.
Right. But I was just thinking about how the pool might be an easy example for people to grasp of like, you could have Michael Phelps in lane 1. You could have the best female swimmer. You have Katie Ledecky in lane 2. Mm-hmm. You have a collegiate guy-girl swimmer in lanes 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And then I could easily be in 5.
Yeah. And then if I was, but if you were around, Ledecky and Phelps and they're videoing you swimming,
right,
and looking at you and laughing,
fail swim,
fail video. It's like, I get it, like, yeah. Or make a mistake off the diving board and you belly flop, like I used to do in high school when I first started swimming. They'd laugh at me,
right?
You know what I mean?
Never take that.
But I was trying because my goal was to go be a better swimmer, and I'm like, I'm gonna fail diving off this platform because I've never really done it before. But I'm gonna go for it. And it's like, yeah, there's a point in every sport where if you're really trying to grow, you're gonna have to stretch yourself and you're gonna have to step outside, and you might burn your hand or twist your ankle or whatever it's gonna be, drop a barbell, whatever, like the stuff like that happens. Yeah, yes. I get it. And it's like it's not you cannot avoid it.
Right.
It's unavoidable.
Right.
And there's a big difference, like that someone made a comment. It's so hard to break the notion that CrossFit's the tip of the spear. It's like playing basketball isn't like NBA. Like they're two different things. Like that's pretty obvious,
You'd assume.
But it's hard to do sense making sometimes with the internet.
And
if you don't have experience with the thing that you're looking at.
Right. Which is a little bit of like, I don't know, some dude made a video. This guy made a video like response to Hiller and like negativity or something. I didn't even know what the video was about. Honestly, like I watched it.
I saw it today.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, but anyways, I was, I'm thinking, like I'm observing this, I'm watching, and I can't come to the conclusion of like what is this actually about? Like I really
that's why I wanted to do this.
Right.
Like what are we arguing about here? What are we talking about? What are we pointing fingers at?
Right,
because everybody's pointing fingers right now.
Yes.
What's going on?
I'm becoming more and more convinced of the same thing that you've been telling me.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't think people really know.
That's why I titled this what is CrossFit anyway or anymore? Like,
right.
Why are we unable to go back and read, which I did today, what is CrossFit on the CrossFit.com page and understand it? Why can't we do that? Like, go do that right now.
Wow.
Go read what because really it's different than what
it's way different.
Internet reality of CrossFit is. Not reality, the internet CrossFit is.
Correct.
Because I don't believe the internet like that is reality. I think it's some weird twisted version of it. First, that somehow makes its way into regular reality. It's like a, I don't know. You can only to get like something bad, you can just pervert something good. You can't really make. It's like the devil type of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like he can't make something of his own doing. It has to be like a twisted version of what's already existed, what's already been created.
Yeah.
It's like God created all this. Let me kind of take this thing and let's twist it a little bit. And that's the temptation. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we have with the internet in just like a really big form. And it's like you take things, you put all this stuff on the internet and you get all like the kind of like just a twisted form of reality that influences actual reality. But it could disappear like that, at any moment.
Yeah,
turn the power off.
If right, in the internet, right? Defund the internet. All right. Well, if that was the case, what do you think, would happen to the local gym, to local CrossFit gym?
It would just keep on going.
It just keeps going.
That's why I love the line of work that I'm in, right?
Yes.
Like it's like that's something that's helping people. It's something that's I believe to be true, and it's something that's like building a community, not reaching out online, talking to people on the internet like we're doing right now.
Right.
Like my goal here is to sit down and talk to you about these things so that people are reminded of what it is that they're doing when they go into the gym.
Right. So, maybe this is for a different time, but like in the, all right. So if the first rule, the 12 rules to life is make your bed, right? Before you try and clean up the world, clean up your room. I think this gym has a clean room. Fair enough.
Would try, sure.
I think it could.
I'm never going to say I have anything perfect, and I'm never going to say I'm an expert in anything. I'm going to say that here's the way that I do them, and it either works or it doesn't.
All right. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I just don't believe. I don't care. You can't change. It's hard to change my mind about that one thing. Yeah. Like people that claim they're an expert on something. Right. It's like, you could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Right.
We could all be wrong. Why don't we lay out the ideas on the table and let the ideas argue? Why are we?
Right.
Like, why am I? I'm not going to point a finger at you and say you're ugly, therefore you're wrong. Right. Or you don't have a degree, therefore you're wrong. Like,
right.
You gotta be careful. Be careful with that. I think.
100%. I guess the point that I was
clean the make your bed. Like you have a good foundation. You have a good understanding of things. A basic understanding of what it is that we're trying to do here with the gym.
For sure.
What it is when someone walks into the gym that you're trying to give to them, because that's another thing. It's like you have to remind your athletes in your gym what they should be striving for each day. Like what they should be going for. Hey, here's the goal for today.
Right, because I think the critique, like the only honest critique of the coach's office, is you're jumping, is if we're jumping from, we're thinking about and focused on and active in CrossFit Krypton, but then we're not thinking about the other local affiliates in Chesapeake.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care what they're doing, but I do, but I don't.
No, I do for sure.
I certainly don't go check. Like, I'm not doing any leg work. I'm doing no relational work with them. I'm not talking to them. I'm not visiting their gym. And then at that point, it's like, because it's kind of weird where it's like, hey, can I drop in here? And then you observe it and you're like, hey, let me tell you how to fix this. You know, like, that would be weird.
Mm-hmm.
Would never do that. And so there's some part of reality in which that would be hard to do. That's why it was amazing when Dave went and did what he like visited like a bajillion gyms in like 40 days or some 100 days straight or something. It's something crazy, right? Where it's like, that's really meaningful. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But if the critique is, hey, Ben, JB, you're jumping from CrossFit Krypton to HQ and you're not doing enough work in the middle, I would say, okay, fair enough. Potentially, that's true. Potentially, that's a problem. But what would you do? How do you do that other than this? Like,
well, that's the other weird thing that this platform and the internet allows you to do is you can reach way more people. You have a broader brush to paint with, I guess.
So not
that that's always the best thing to do, but
right. But that was going to be my answer, which is, well, that's why you do this. This is the middle space. Like, those would be the margins. CrossFit Krypton is the margin on the left. HQ is the margin on the right. Everything exists in between that and here. And then that's what this is supposed to be. Is it's supposed to reach that middle part. And it's supposed to be relational too. Like, you want to be likable. Like, this is something like how much you've now given the CrossFit space more Ben Smith words in the last,
I get joked about that. Yeah.
3 weeks than you did in the last 10 years.
Sure.
Oh, well, who cares?
That hasn't been something that I've been interested in
doesn't
doing,
matter, until now.
Right.
And it happens, and you grow, you evolve, or whatever it is. But that's the one that I've been thinking about that a little bit, just to put that out into the ether of like, hey, I understand that. I get that. I understand your critique there. But don't fall for the trick. That's certainly it.
Another cool thing about this is like people can comment, people can leave comments, we can talk about this again next time. Like, we could reach people that we might never reach, just because not everybody's gonna be interested in what we're saying.
Right.
But if somebody's interested in it, then it's a cool way to spread what you might know or what ideas you might have. Like, it's a cool collective way to bring together ideas that could help people or help gyms or help whatever.
Yeah.
Because the things that get attention are the things that shouldn't get attention.
I'm not interested in ideas that don't have some type of like practical application for them or test to them, right? Like, your experiment, your science experiment is not just an idea. It's an idea put into action to be tested and then retested. And then retested. Yeah. And then
that's a cool thing. Yeah, CrossFit does that.
That's what that's what this is.
Yeah. You come and do a workout, and then you retest. You can retest that workout in a year, and then in another year, and you can see your fitness improve. It's measurable.
Right. The current direction, I guess, things are going, is an idea. Hey, we think this is the way that this goes.
That's a good point.
It's an idea, and it's just an idea.
And let me get as many people wrapped around this idea as I possibly can so that I can push it on the person that's in charge so that they can try to implement my idea.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the thing that you're looking for has already been tested. It existed and has existed in the past. Let's get back to that. It's more of like a conservative approach to things. But now that conservative approach to things is becoming a liberal approach to things. It's very odd.
Right.
It's very weird. So like, I'm the one sitting on here on YouTube talking about how CrossFit needs to do something different. and they need to just do what they did in the past. You know, it's like
Right.
it's very odd,
Right.
and very obvious.
Ben, you're so negative. You're so negative towards things. Why don't you be more positive, you negative Nancy? Can't you see your vibes are all wrong, man?
Sure, fine.
Like, what type of critique is that?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to be fair, like, I've been around some negative people. I don't like being around negative people. But that's not what this is. I don't think. Like, do you think you're just being negative? Like, do you think you're
No,
just...
but I think there's times that you can fall into that for sure, but I don't think that's not my intent.
Right.
But I don't know if that intent matters or not.
It does matter. It fully matters. It matters more than anything else in the entire world. It's the only way things get done. Dude, and I'm about to go on a crazy rant because that statement right there makes me so sad. It makes me so sad because nobody understands the extent in which the world would fall into extreme peril if your intent didn't matter. If intent doesn't matter, nothing works. Ever. Ever. And I could flesh this out for hours and hours and hours on why your intent really, really speaks volumes. Hey, I'm trying to help. Like, imagine, like, well, you just ruined this. Are we ruined now? Because I tried to help? I thought I was helping? No, because the most simple thing to not be long-winded on this topic for this podcast would be to say, no, forgiveness matters. If intent doesn't matter, then forgiveness doesn't exist.
That's true.
And forgiveness must exist. So intent is the driving force. This is why you do anything. Why do you do anything?
Sure. Yeah,
Like,
the problem. Yeah, there's. But I heard, what did I see in the article I sent this morning to y'all? It was like something like there's a ton of paths that you could take that are all the wrong path, but there's one right path, kind of thing. So that's kind of
sorta.
Yeah. Like your intent, you have to be careful about your intent because you have to be cautious of what your intent is. Because there's only one right way to go about things. Yeah.
Right. But
I don't know.
your intent, yes. So yes. Intent is the workout of the day. It is your attempt to try and be best prepared. Fill in the blank. A, B, C, D, whatever you think the workout of the day stands for. But to be best prepared for what?
Yeah, for right.
Well, if intent doesn't matter, then the regular gym goer doesn't matter. Like, their life doesn't matter because they walk into the gym and their intent for doing the workout to cause something, for them to gain something, wouldn't matter.
So it's intent that we need to try to clarify and give away.
Right. What is CrossFit's intent at this point? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, and I think CrossFit, it's great point. But I think that it's very clearly described in the What is CrossFit on the .com site. Just Google it. It gives you 3 components of what they're trying to test when they talk about fitness and what they're describing and what they're explaining. And it's clear. I read it today. It's interesting. There's some things that I would like to point out, but it's definitely interesting, and it's had never been done before.
Intent is also really, 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 really important for relationship. It's so important that, like, to the point where, all right, here you go. This will be the last thing I say about it.
Yeah, we got it. Laura's going to go do the workout right now.
All right. This will be the last thing. If you're unaware of your intent, you're manipulating someone.
So being aware of your intent is very important. Right. Because it's dangerous because you might not know what your true intent is.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's like...
So it's good to sit down and think about what your intention of doing things is.
Correct.
And why you're doing them. Because
I assume you don't want to be a manipulator. I assume you don't want to get what you want via some type of means that isn't actually true. That's not good. That's not justifiable, whatever it is.
Interesting thoughts. Yeah, I think people should think about why they're going to the gym. Gym owners, what are you trying to do with your athletes? CrossFit, what are you trying to do with
Competition.
Because I think they do a great job with the other side of things.
Yeah, they
Really do.
I mean, it's
And that's my critique is just purely of the competition side.
all right.
So, yeah, we can talk more next time.
Let's go, Laura.
Leave your comments. Yeah. Sorry.